So today I am going to show you how I weekly plan. Someone had messaged me asking to see how I plan, so I will show you how I weekly plan. Now, it may look complicated because I have a stack of books and all that, and this is only for my third grader. I'm only going to plan her week out for next week. Since I am an eclectic homeschooler and I just choose and piece everything together myself, it is more time consuming and it may look more complicated than it actually is. If you buy an all-in-one curriculum where everything's already prepackaged for you, then it's not difficult at all. But I don't mind this. I enjoy it. So I will try to do this. I've never done this before. Well, with a video. So hopefully you can see it and it works out good. One thing I wanted to show you before I actually start is I made a little guide, I guess you could call it, for the steps that I take on how I weekly plan, and I will go through these steps. As I actually plan for you, but I might have this available for you to download, or I might type it up on my blog. I don't know, but anyhow, just wanted to show you that. So let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to fill this out. This will be for my third grader. I'm not going to write her name in, but I got to fill out the school year, the quarter, and the week. First quarter, this will be the 6th week. And then right up here I put the dates, Monday through Friday. I put an M for Monday. Okay, so the first thing on my steps, step 1, is over the weekend, which today's Saturday, I tally the hours and the grades that they completed the previous week, and then I log that into the hour log, and then I figure their grade. So I've already done that. If you can see, this tan colored box has their hours that they have done in each subject, and the green box has their points so far. So it's at the beginning of the week, and then we'll work through the week, and then they'll have, some add-up. It'll be added up down here. And the same thing on the back for their non-core stuff. It's already written down here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is the Bible. And this is what we use for Bible. And we are on Amos and Obadiah. And right here it tells us to read Amos chapter 1, and then Amos chapter 9, and then Obadiah chapter 1. Okay. So, before I do that, another step 2 says, I review the work from the previous week to determine if I need to reteach the topic, or if they just need some extra practice with it. If so, then I plan that for the next week. I have already looked back on the work she done last week, and everything is fine. She didn't have any trouble, so I don't have to do that. And then step 3, I also looked back to see if there was an assignment or project that did not get completed. If there was, then I decide if it should be done. If so, then I'll plan that for the upcoming week. And there was one assignment that we did not do, so I've got to look at that and see if I want to go ahead and do it or not, or just skip it. Step 4, before I write anything in my planner, I look at the calendar to see if there are any events, appointments, or obligations that next week that will have us away from the house. If there are, then I schedule a lighter workload on those school days. And I have already looked at the calendar, and Tuesday and Wednesday both, we will have to be out of the house. But we will have up until around noon to do schoolwork, and we'll have to leave around noon. So those will be a little bit lighter school days. I guess I should probably go ahead and go through all these with you. Step 5. I go through each subject for each child, lesson by lesson. I look at each lesson to judge how difficult it might be for my child or to see if I could possibly combine a couple of lessons. As I do this, I make a list on paper, which this is my list, of any items that will be needed to complete the assignments for that week. During this step, I also list the assignments in my planner, which is this, that I plan to do for each day and any from the previous week as well. Step 6 is once I have done Step 5, I print off and gather any supplies needed for that week from the list I created. Any paper items such as worksheets, timeline figures, possibly flashcards, notebooking pages, lapbooking pieces, or any other printed items I put in their weekly work folder, which is this. And I have a this week and a today section. Step 7, any 3D objects such as manipulatives and maybe flashcards that I gathered goes in a weekly manipulative box. That way the items are within easy reach. And then the last step is each night or early the next morning I will transfer any work from their weekly side into their today side, so they will know that's what they need to do that day. And just a note about the weekly folder, it does not contain everything that they must do during that week. It only contains little consumable pages. They still have textbooks and computer work. So I only created the weekly work folder as a way to keep everything in one place, because I was keeping like their science lapbooking pieces in a science book and history in the history book and just so on. Or I kept them in a teacher folder and I would just forget about some of them. So this is just to keep everything in check. Alright. So Tuesday and Wednesday need to be light school days. So I have to determine what is most important. Well, obviously Bible is the most important. So on Monday we'll read Amos chapter 8, and then let's see what the worksheets look like. Okay, so here's a worksheet. It has 10 questions. They will need to find these verses to answer the questions. Here is a project. Looks like they're going to grow something. Yep. And take little cups and soil and plant and grow something. And then the other Amos and Obadiah lesson page is a word search. Okay. So Monday we'll be home all day. So we'll go ahead and do the worksheet, which is, I need to write down, so I will need to print it off. So I'll write down Bible, page 96, I will need to print. So, have a worksheet to do. And then Tuesday, we will read Amos chapter 9. And we can do the other worksheet, or at least work on it. So I'll need to print off page 98 as well. Wednesday they can just work on the worksheet, because I'm not exactly sure if we will be reading by noon or before. Okay. Then Thursday we'll read Obadiah chapter 1. And then they can do the plant a flower. And then Friday, they can just finish up their worksheets and do their timeline figures. So, for the timeline figures, which are right here, I will need to print off Amos and Obadiah. And they can have them for their timeline notebook. Right, that takes care of Bible. Now on to her math. She is using Singapore. Last year, she did not finish her Singapore math book, so she just finished it last week, so we are starting the next book. Okay. So this will be the first lesson, and I've got to look at it and see if I think it'll be difficult or not. Looks like it's just a part-whole concept. She's doing that already. Mainly just a review, it looks like. Some activities. That's the second lesson. Okay. So for her math, it says here that she will need to do textbook pages 6 through 7, well, 6 through 8. So she will be doing these 2 pages and this page. Okay. So, math, and then textbook 6 through 8. And then we will do the activities. We'll also do the activities that they have here. Right, so for Tuesday, looks like Tuesday, okay. Tuesday she'll be putting blocks or objects into 2 rows. Right. That looks easy enough. Okay, so she'll need to do this. Like just this will be all, plus it says workbook exercise 1. Well, let's see how difficult that is. Oh, she's already been working in it. Look at that. I guess she must have picked it up on her own. Okay, well, she's already been working in it. She does that sometimes. Okay, so workbook exercise 1 is this page and this page, and she did not do the back here. Okay. So on Tuesday, she can do textbook, page 9, and then workbook, page 8, plus the activities. Then Wednesday she will do, it says do page 9 and 10 to do problem 4 right here, and then page 10 right here. Okay. So, write down textbook, page 9 through 10, and then workbook, and then for the workbook it says to do exercise 2. Looks like she's done part of it, but it's just these 2 pages. Okay, so we will do that as well. Pages 9 through 10. Alright, now, her lesson here, I'm going to show you. So on this lesson, you know, the textbook here you don't write in, but she has one problem for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 problems to do in the textbook. And then the workbook has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Oh, 26, 28. So then the workbook has 28, and the textbook has 13. So you can see that's quite a few problems. I won't have her do every problem. I will probably just tell her to pick. What I usually do is I tell her, like this one here, page 9 and 10 has, what I say, 28. I'll just have her pick, like maybe 10, and she can pick whichever 10 she wants. That's what I do. Now, if it's something that's new to her and would be difficult for her, then yeah, she would need to do more than that. But things like this that she can already do, I just have her pick just a certain number. I've always had a rule with my girls though. If I do that, like if there's 20 problems and I say do 10, and if they get one wrong, then the rule is they have to do another one. If they get 2 wrong, the rule is they have to do 2 more. That's what we do there. Okay, and yes, I am writing in ink pen. I have tried writing in pencil when I'm pre-planning like this. I've tried writing in pencil, and then the day that we do it, if it's actually done, and trace over it in ink, and then erase the pencil. But I don't know. I just like writing in pen. It's okay. That's just me. Okay. So the next lesson that she would do on Thursday, it looks like it is just a practice, which basically to review. Okay. And that is in her textbook here, practice 1A, and you can see it's just this page. And again, see, number 1 has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 problems in itself, and number 2 has multiple ones. I just have her pick, like this one has 12, so I would just have her pick 6. Okay, so for this one, she'll do textbook page 11, which is a practice 1A, and I will grade her on that. So whenever I know I'm going to grade something, I underline that item in red. That way I know, hey, that's to be graded. And I'm sorry if it just got dark in here all of a sudden. It just clouded over. They're calling for rain today. Okay, now for Friday. Okay. Friday looks like it's on another section. It is for methods of mental addition. Alright. Alright. Okay, this one, it looks like it might take her, might need to work on this one a little bit more. She can do mental addition pretty good. It really surprises me. But she hasn't been taught. She just does it. And I think things like this might confuse her. Like, I don't know if you can see it or not. Like the 8, how they break it down into a 6 and a 2, or the 54, they break down into a 50 and a 4. She does it, but I don't know how she does it, what her method is. And her method works for her. But, anyhow. So I think what we'll do is we will spend some time on this lesson and do these examples. Yep. Okay. So that would be in textbook page 12 through 13. Textbook pages 12 through 13. And I don't think we won't do the workbook. It tells us to do this exercise right here. Hang on, sorry you didn't see that. It tells us to do this workbook page, the front and back. See, there's several problems. I don't think we'll do that. I don't think I will assign that anyway. I think we will see how she does with just going over the lesson. And if she gets it, and she's still okay with doing more work, then I might do the workbook, but I'm not going to write it down. I don't think that that would happen. Okay, so I have her math. So now we're going to do her English. Alright, we're on Chapter 3, Lesson 21. It's over common and proper nouns, which she gets that just fine. So I won't need to spend any extra time there. Singular and plural nouns, she already knows that. So could I combine it? Could I combine it with another lesson? Yes, I think I'm going to combine Lesson 22 and Lesson 23 together. Because 22 is over singular and plural nouns, just adding an S, basically. She already gets this. And this one here is like dropping the Y, adding IES, or making the F into a V for like wife to wives, knife to knives. Yep, we will combine those lessons. Lesson 22 and 23. Alright, Lesson 24 is on capitalizing proper nouns, and she already knows that. Lesson 25 is on abbreviations. Well, let's see. Abbreviations, some of these she knows, but some of these would be new to her. So, and we do have to go somewhere on Wednesday. So I think I will just do the easier one on the day that we have to go somewhere, and leave the harder one for when we will be gone, when we'll be home. So she'll do this one on Thursday. And then Friday, possessive nouns. Now she is really good at adding an apostrophe S, but she wants to add an apostrophe S for almost anything. So, we'll just leave this as a single lesson. Yep. So she'll do lesson 26 on Friday. And that takes care of her English. Now, let me find my other little cheat sheet here. Okay. Alright, another thing for her math that I forgot to mention a while ago is she does SumDog, which I have a video where I go over that, and I'll try to put a card in here. She does SumDog on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Another language arts thing that she has is typing, and I also have a video where I go over that, and I will put that on a card as well. Okay, so as I was saying, part of your language arts is also to do typing, and I have a video, and I will try to put a card up, where I go over what typing we use. We use typing.com. So they do typing on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay. Now, she also has reading comprehension, and I also have a video where I go over this book if you're interested. Alright. So, the next one that she will be doing is this one here over dies. And they only do reading comprehension just once a week. And she does it, Thursdays seem to work out pretty good. So I just put down reading comp. And this page goes in her weekly side, and I'll pull that out on the day she needs it. Okay, then she does spelling. and she is on lesson 17. What I do is on Mondays she does part A, Tuesdays part B, Wednesdays part C, and then she has a test also. So I will just write down spelling, then I'll write down 17A for Monday, Wednesday or Tuesday spelling 17B, and then Wednesday spelling 17C and a test. Okay, underline test. Alright. Then she has vocabulary. Now I did not put that up here, but I do have a video where I go over vocabulary. So what we do is we learn 3 new words a week, and I'm just going to put down vocabulary from Monday through Thursday. So we learn 3 new words a week. On Monday, we go over all 3 words, but they just write 1 word down each day in their vocabulary book. Because we started writing them all down, all 3 words down on Monday, and that was just taking too long. Because I had them write the synonyms, antonyms, definition, draw a picture to help them remember the word and all of that. And I will show you, I will do another video sometime where I show you that, what their vocabulary notebooks look like. Okay, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Well, Monday through Wednesday she will learn a new vocabulary word, and Thursday she'll have her vocabulary test, which is right there. Okay, she is also learning cursive. So we do cursive on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And then on Wednesday, instead of cursive, see, they have pen pals, and it's pretty, sometimes we have trouble writing their pen pals back quickly. It's hard to remember too. So I actually made Wednesday to where they can just write their pen pals back. Because they don't really need me then to teach them, you know, when they write a letter. They just write. So that's something they can do on their own. But since we'll be gone Wednesday, I'm not going to write that down. Because we need as light of a day as possible. Okay. So that takes care of that. Now, okay, her cursive, I will need to print out her cursive sheets. For her cursive, we are using God's Alphabet in cursive, and this planner, in case you are wondering, it's the Homeschool Planning Pack. I will put a link to that and God's Alphabet in cursive in the description box. Okay, for her history, we are using Heroes and Heroines of the Past, American History, and we are doing part 1. I need to make a video where I go over this since I did ended up printing it all out, but there's actually 2 books. See how thick this one is? There's 2 books this thickness, and you're supposed to do both books the whole year, for 1 year. There's no way we could do both books in a year. We'll be lucky to get through this book in a year. They have a bunch of other stuff that you buy with the curriculum. For a 3rd grader, I think just this book alone is plenty. Okay, so for her history, we will be gone Tuesday and Wednesday. So we will just do, actually we're going to do science on Monday, because on Wednesday we're going to their friend's house and we're doing a science experiment. So I will need to get them prepared for that on Monday. So I guess we'll just do history towards the end of the week. So she will be doing section 1, lesson 4, the second part of Columbus, and then she'll need her history notebook. Okay, So here's why I think this book alone is enough. You have all this reading, all this reading, all this reading. Then you have some questions to answer, some writing topics, geography. You look at this picture, answer questions about it. Then you have reading of the coat of arms, timeline, and this is the stuff that we don't do. Timeline we do on our own. But then they also want you to do like an act it out. Anyway, but we don't. Okay, so that was quite a bit of reading and then writing, and then she has some lapbooking pieces for her history notebook. So we will just have that lesson out over the course of 2 days. So she'll do that on Thursday and Friday. Because she probably won't get the reading and her history notebook done. So you'll probably need a couple days for that. Okay, let's see. Now, for the timeline figure, we'll be studying Columbus for her history like I showed you. But I already have printed out the Columbus timeline figure from last week. So, I'm just scanning through here, seeing if there's any other new names or new time, events. Alright, doesn't look like it. Okay. Go ahead and do the science now. Now the science that we did not do from last week was this. Pages 18 through 20, right here, about the atmosphere. So I'm just looking through here to see if I want to go ahead and do it or not. Okay. I don't think it's too necessary, because their main science curriculum, this one, taught them some about the atmosphere, and then we watched videos of the different levels and layers of the atmosphere. So yeah, I think we'll just skip that part. Alright, so, like I said, next Wednesday we will go to a friend's house and we will do a project for Lesson 5, Earth. So, this is the assignment right here, to make an advertisement that we're considering having the girls make a commercial to invite people, like why they should live on Earth. Okay. So we ended right here. So on Monday we will need to read these pages. Alright. I think what we will do is we will just read pages 57 through 60 on Monday. Ken's not wanting to right now. And then they'll need to do their astronomy notebooks, because they have some lapbooking pieces in there. Then on Tuesday, we will do pages 61 through 62, and they will need to finish their astronomy notebook. Okay. Now, does this lesson happen to mention of a person that there might be a timeline figure for? It doesn't look like it. Okay. So, and then Wednesday, we will go to their friend's house to do the project. We might have some time, though, before we leave, to where they can watch the videos over Lesson 5 that I have on a YouTube playlist for their astronomy book. Okay. And I have already printed off all of the lap book pieces, so I don't need to print anything off for that. I don't need to gather anything for that. Already done that. Alright. Now, the Fit and Active, Art, Life Skills, and Music. And then down here, Spanish. The Fit and Active, Art, and Life Skills, that's just something, I just put in if they do it. Music, we are working on a composer, Sebastian Bach. We'll probably finish him on Monday. Let's see. Yep, Monday will work. Okay. So last week we did not get to Lesson 19 in Spanish. So Monday we will do Lesson 19 in Spanish. Let's see. Tuesday would be Lesson 20, Plural Articles. I think we might just get Spanish on Tuesday and Wednesday, because they have learned several Spanish words, and my 6th grader is doing fine with it. She remembers all of them. Sometimes she has to slow down and think about it, but she gets them right. But my 3rd grader, she remembers all of them except for un and una. She has trouble with those. I think we will just not do Spanish on the 2 days we'll be gone. So we'll pick it back up on Thursday. Okay. That takes care of that. Now, one thing I forgot to do, because I'm a little nervous doing all of this, talking out loud to myself, but I forgot to write down actual items I needed to gather for the lessons. Like, I wrote down things I needed to print and timeline figures, but actual manipulatives that I needed to gather, if there are any, I forgot to write that down. So let me just go back through this lesson real quick to see if there's any. Okay. Okay, it looks like I will need index cards and the unit cubes. For my daughter's math on that day. On the next day, we'll need the unit cubes again. The 3rd day, we will need the grid, which I have one of those already, so I'll need to get that. Let's see. Last lesson. Numbered discs I will need. Alright. I will need to gather those, the number discs. Okay, so that is all I need. Okay, so I have got to print off 2 pages for her Bible, a couple pages for her cursive. I will need to gather the base 10 set, the ones, the unit cubes, the number discs, 100 grid, and index cards. And then the timeline figures, I need to look for Amos and Obadiah. Alright. Also, I will need to print off the rest of their composer study box. Alright. So, now my step is right here. Print off and gather all the supplies that I need. So I'm going to do that now. One thing I forgot to mention is that once a week or once every 2 weeks we work on memorizing a Bible verse. So the verse for next week will be Romans 10:9. And I write it up here on these lines, that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus, and shalt believe in the heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. So, we do that verse, and part of their, for my third grader, part of her cursive that you can see I wrote under the language arts is to write down, things she's supposed to memorize. So, memory work. So this is a poem that she was working on, and here's some cursive Bible verses that she's done so far. Okay? And so down here, she will write Romans 10:9, that verse there. That will be part of her work this week. And so I had, where's my paper at? Okay. Let me get it here. So you remember I made a list of things I needed to gather, things I needed to print off, and get the timeline figures. So I've got all that together now. This is one of the things I needed to print off, and I have already I've already 3-hole punched it, and I will put this in their Bible binder instead of in their weekly work folder. I'll just put that in their Bible binder. And I have already gathered all their printables and put it right in here on this week's side. You can see she has her cursive work. She'll be doing F and G, her reading comprehension, her science lap book pieces, her Bach study, and then the timeline figures. Okay, so I got those, and then this is the current box we're using. It's just a box. I might get a prettier one, but in the meantime this works. This box is for this week's manipulatives, and I just put it over here on our art cart. So this is what my third grader needs for her manipulatives this week. And I'll also, after I do my 6th grader's plan for school next week, if she needs anything, I'll add it in here too. So you remember that my third grader needed the 100 grid chart, some index cards, some numbered discs, and I made these, and then those base 10 units. So I have everything ready to go for my third grader. Everything is all ready. So if you have any questions, just ask. And thanks for watching.